To discuss these gender issues, we're joined by Ijeoma Udensi, the former president of the National Council for Women's Society. Ijeoma, I'm glad to have you join us.
Good evening, viewers. I'm happy to be here, sir.
Let's just start immediately with what the greatest challenge for women is, or what they face, greatest challenge they face in politics, and how really they're addressing it. Mind you that nobody's going to hand over power to you on a platter of diamond.
We do understand that. Our greatest challenge is patriarchy, and we all know that. We're in a society where the value of women is understated. Men are seen as the natural leaders. Even our religious institutions preach that, our cultural institutions preach that. And having been that's socialized for over thousands of years, women have began to believe it because they've internalized it. And where you're growing up, they're stereotyping, they're choosing careers for you. Nobody thinks about you in leadership positions. They think about you as a nurse, a caregiver. And so over the years, women have even their role perspectives and the role expectations is that, we are the softer ones, we are weaker species. So that has actually challenged women. And then in the critical circles of the culture of the people, women are seen as second-class citizens. Never to be heard, but to just be seen as decorative ornaments in the home. When important decisions are being carried out or taken, the men sit together at the round table, and the women you're supposed to serve you garden egg and cola nuts. So we are not there when important decisions are taken. And this thing has been carried over to our today's society. In politics today, you see men, I call it a male conspiracy. You see men fix their political meetings in the dead of the night when they know it is not convenient for women to come out.
Is it really against the women, or it just happens that the men have, perfected the art of nocturnal living?
No. That is male conspiracy, because they're all married to women like us, and they know that they will not. Women do not feel safe coming out at certain times and doing certain things. So they will make sure that it is not convenient for you to participate in the process that makes you even a candidate.
Let me ask this question. I mean, Nigeria signed up to the 35% affirmative action.
100%.
Just a convention.
Yes.
It is not legislated yet.
At all.
What would be the first step in realizing all of these goals for Nigerian women?
First step to ensuring that political parties honor and obey 35% affirmative action is legislating on it. There must be a law. If there's no law that compels political parties to field women to the tune of 35%, then we are just semantics, speaking grammar. So and that's why women are lobbying. Women are coming together, synergizing, networking, and insisting that the House, the Senate, House of Rep, they come up with a bill that says 35% affirmative action is a law. And then INEC can work on it. The law courts can now, if we don't get up to that, we can now have recourse to the court of law and say they have tampered with our rights. But as it is now, INEC has a weak position. They cannot implement it. The parties play with it. They have gender policies, or they do have gender policies, but then they pay lip service to it. So first step first, legislate on it. That's the only way we can have that.
All right. Women get it right. One of the speakers there that was being interviewed talked about women getting it right. Gender, not the constitution rather, not gender friendly. Then talked about intimidation. I want to be able to understand that. I can understand funding, but I want to be able to understand intimidation. And what does she mean by getting it right? Let's get to understand what that implies.
I'll take the element of intimidation. And I'll tell you, during the last elections, I worked in the field. In fact, I was an INEC peer educator. I was in the field. And we're talking about violence and the implication for women participation in politics. Our politics is transactional. There's a lot of it's marred by violence. Ballot box carrying, men bringing out their guns and having their goons. And women have a lot of conscience. There are things we do not do by our special nature. We are the conscience of the people, the conscience of the nation. We bet humanity. We do not take lives. And so when you get into the field and you see men wielding their guns and wielding their machetes and all that, and getting their talks up and down there, that's intimidating enough. And men, we've heard stories about our women of uncommon courage in the field tell you that the men will come to them and say, step down. They will go to your husband and tell your husband to warn your wife to step down. She's overstepping her bounds. And the man will tell you, my darling wife, please come before they kill you for me. So that's intimidation. So our electioneering processes is marred by violence. And that's intimidating enough.
And that seems to be intimidation on one level. But there's another level that you ladies pointed out, that male politicians actually use their numbers to shut down bills in parliament that would bring benefits to women. It's difficult to wrap one's mind around that. And how can women best prepare themselves for 2023?
Good. I will use my state for an example. We have 27 seats in the House of Assembly. Guess how many is occupied by women? 2. Poultry, 2.
Which
now,
state is
2 Imo
State.
Imo State. Now, 2 over 27. If you send your child to school and they come back with that result, what would you do? Will you pay the next school fees? Nothing. It's a gross.
You will. Because it's
hoping for the best. Hoping for the best.
It's a big fail. Yeah.
Hoping for the best. But so they cannot lobby. You know, politics is a game of numbers. Yeah. When you bring out a bill, now we are still grappling with the VAT bill.
Yeah.
VAT bill. All the states in the southeast, they have signed it. But luckily enough, we are by interest of grace, or because the women are CSOs and activists in the states have shouted, Holy Mother, we've gotten this the state to act on it. So, but with larger society, in the Senate and all those places, when they bring out these bills, we need male support because their numbers are greater. And when we don't have up to 6%, you can't go anywhere.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
But you mentioned how we're preparing for 2023. Yes. We have started. We have started. And I tell you that this conference is a great starting point. Yeah. Women have been talking over the years. Right. We are building a great and a massive army.
Fantastic.
And
That's a good place to live.
All right. Well, we're watching out. Thank you so
much. Ijeoma Udensi, former president, NCWS.
Yep.
Thank you so much for joining us.